Welcome back, babes. By the time you hear this, it'll be the weekend.
And babes, just know we love you, we see you, and babes, we are so happy to have you here. Cheers to you, babes.
Cheers. Oh my gosh, we are currently drinking a Moscato from Jacob's Creek. And babes, it is an absolute banger.
It is structurally flawless, honestly. It is carrying the weight of my entire week right now.
I am so emotionally attached to sweet wines. I mean, I don't care what the, traditional sommeliers say.
Right, they know absolutely nothing.
Like, cheap wine is secretly carrying the weight of modern society.
Oh, completely.
When the world feels entirely out of control, when global intelligence agencies are, like, theoretically battling in the shadows, Moscato is the great equalizer.
It really is.
It holds you when you cry. It tells you your impulsive online shopping was actually a long-term investment.
You're touching on a fundamental truth here, bestie. The entire concept of expensive wine is, frankly, just an overrated scam.
Thank you. Yes.
It's an exclusionary marketing ploy. Oh, your grapes were crushed on a specific sun-drenched hill in Tuscany by a man who only wears linen. Who cares?
Literally no one cares.
I am currently feeling incredibly classy on a budget. I've spent $12, and my serotonin receptors are, like, firing on all cylinders.
Exactly. This is not sponsored, but babes, if we need cheap wine recommendations, this is the way.
It truly is. I'm getting notes of peach, maybe a little apricot, and the subtle, lingering undertone of intentionally not checking my email today.
The best flavor profile.
Because we are aggressively avoiding reality, my friend.
We are heavily avoiding reality. Right. Which actually brings us to a little family meeting we need to have with the Snark squad.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Because we officially have an insane backlog of shows to get through.
It's a mountain. It is a logistical crisis of entertainment.
It is so overwhelming. Every time I open my streaming apps, the algorithm is literally judging me.
It knows what you haven't watched.
So if we requested something, if you guys messaged us a show and we haven't covered it yet, we're not ignoring anyone. Life is just lifing lately.
Life is aggressively lifing. And frankly, our shared spreadsheet of TV shows currently looks like a high-stakes corporate project.
It's terrifying.
I caught myself color-coding the priority watch list the other day, cross-referencing release dates with episode lengths, and I had to take a long, hard look in the mirror.
You are spiraling.
When did leisure television become homework?
There is never enough time. We're trying to balance the podcast, our actual careers, attempting to have hobbies.
If we even have those anymore.
Which, by the way, my only hobby right now is worrying about fictional characters. And just existing.
Existing takes a lot of energy.
I started an episode of a dense prestige drama the other night, paused it to take analytical notes, and I had to close my laptop. I was at maximum capacity.
You called me hyperventilating because the geopolitical factions were too complex to map out on a Tuesday night?
I couldn't handle it.
But Snark Squad, breathe easy. Everything is officially on the list. We will get to it. We just have to pace ourselves so we don't end up institutionalized over prestige television.
Exactly. We are actively preserving our peace. Because, my brilliant co-host, it is officially pool season.
Play the imaginary air horns. It is time.
We have the biggest news. Snark Squad, brace yourselves. We signed our leases.
We did the thing.
And in 2 months, we are both moving into the same apartment building.
The chaos is officially being centralized into one singular zip code. We are consolidating our command center.
I am already emotionally planning my poolside outfits.
Oh, I know you are.
I'm talking oversized caftans. Massive, structurally sound sunglasses where you can't see my eyes so I can analyze everyone's posture openly without making eye contact.
The tactical eyewear.
Yes. We are finally entering our soft life era. I am manifesting absolute unbothered rooftop energy.
I am treating this apartment pool like an exclusive, high-security, private resort.
As you should.
I've already drafted a poolside cocktail menu based on international espionage themes. Stop. I love that.
And I'm thinking we take up water aerobics. Just standing in the shallow end, doing tiny kicks, pretending we are retired rich women whose husbands vanished under highly classified mysterious circumstances.
Yes. Just full luxury delusion. We are going to maximize pool season to the absolute limit.
It is required for our mental health.
I want to be so completely detached from my daily stress that I forget my own passwords.
It's the only way to operate. But, and I hate to shatter this beautiful sun-drenched illusion we are building, but we have to face reality for a terrifying second.
Please don't do this to me. But speaking of pools, we still have to go open my mom's pool this weekend.
Ugh, the betrayal. Why did you say that out loud?
Because it is a dark, swampy cloud hanging over my head. Every single year, this pool opening somehow becomes my personal manual labor nightmare.
It is so gross.
Pulling that heavy, stagnant, swamp water-filled tarp off, I feel personally attacked by adulthood. Parents recruiting us for chores forever is a violation of our human rights.
I keep trying to romanticize it.
Yeah.
I tell myself, oh, we're doing wholesome outdoor activities. We're connecting with the earth.
It is not wholesome.
But the earth is just dead bugs and green algae. It's deeply traumatic.
Pools are actually a rich people punishment. It is suburban delusion at its finest. Everyone thinks, oh, I want a pool. It's an oasis of relaxation.
Lies.
False. It is pure operational stress. You're basically managing a miniature, highly volatile chemical plant in your backyard.
It's a full-time job.
It requires precise chemistry. It requires constant skimming.
At this point, we desperately need a pool boy.
We do. We need an aesthetically pleasing pool boy who possesses an advanced degree in chemical engineering to handle the pH levels while we drink Moscato.
Literally the dream.
Because this massive divide between our dream luxury lifestyle and the stressful reality of pool maintenance is a perfect metaphor for what we actually need to talk about today.
Oh my gosh, the transition of the century. You are so right. We're using cheap wine and apartment pools to escape our reality. But the characters we are tracking right now,
oh, they take it to another level.
they take escaping reality to a terrifying, violent extreme.
They literally wipe the human hard drive.
We have to unpack the absolute unhinged spy chaos happening right now on television. Because the chaos of our personal lives is nothing compared to Citadel Season 2, Episode 2, Cold Plunge.
Nothing compares to it.
Snark Squad, buckle up. We are on a mission today to extract every messy, shady, deeply analytical detail of this episode.
The body count is high, but the emotional damage is immeasurable. And the operational security? It is an absolute shambles.
Complete shambles.
Let's start right there. Abby's messy hiding spot and the supermarket ambush.
Okay, let's set the board. Abby is hiding out in Sweden, and she is in a full psychological spiral.
Understandably.
Which, to be fair, is incredibly relatable given her circumstances. She secretly arranges this 5 a.m. meeting at the Gladarena to see Hendrix.
A terrible plan.
She's frantic. Her maternal instinct is overriding every piece of training she's ever received. She just wants to get back to her daughter.
And let me pause you there, because we need to dissect the mechanics of this mistake. I need to roast Abby's operational security for a second.
I know it was bad, but go ahead.
Her OPSEC is fundamentally broken. She is supposedly tied to the greatest clandestine organization in the world, and what does she do?
She sends a message.
She essentially drops her secret meetup location onto a compromised network. Joanna intercepts that message instantaneously.
The speed of that intercept was terrifying.
Right, and we need to understand how that happens. It's not just bad luck. Manticore isn't just listening to individual phone calls. They are operating a digital dragnet.
It's so creepy.
It's SIGINT, signals intelligence.
Yeah.
When you own the infrastructure, when you have backdoors into the global telecommunications networks, you don't need boots on the ground to find someone.
You just wait.
You just set an algorithm tripwire. Abby tripped the wire. She basically pinged Manticore's central server and said, here are my coordinates, please send a strike team.
Okay, analytically, you are completely correct. She walked right into a digital dragnet. But bestie, you have to look at the psychology of the moment.
I'm looking at the tactical failure.
But she is a mother in an absolute panic. When your entire reality is fractured, when you don't even know if your memories are your own, the analytical part of your brain shuts down.
That is a liability in the field.
The amygdala takes over. It's pure fight or flight. I can't blame her for slipping up when her foundation is literally crumbling.
I hear that. Trauma compromises judgment. But in their world, compromised judgment doesn't just mean you send an embarrassing text.
True.
It means you activate a Manticore kill squad in Sweden with direct orders to terminate. The stakes demand perfection, and she failed.
The consequences were definitely immediate. She gets to the meetup spot. The tension is incredibly thick. She's expecting Hendrix. But it's not Hendrix stepping out of the shadows.
No, it is not.
It's Carter.
Poor, tragically doomed Carter.
I felt a visceral chill during this scene. Carter looks at her, and you can see the desperation in his eyes. He's trying to tell her a secret.
He had so much exposition to deliver.
He's trying to warn her about something massive that Mason has been hiding regarding her true background. And right at the precipice of that revelation,
boom, sniped.
cut off mid-sentence.
By a high-velocity round. From a purely narrative standpoint, it's a brilliant way to build tension. But tactically, It shows the difference between the archetypes of espionage.
So.
Carter is trying to be the scalpel, trying to deliver precise information to fix a psychological puzzle. Manticore brings the hammer. A sniper is the ultimate blunt instrument.
The suddenness of it. Imagine you're finally about to get the missing piece to your identity, the key to unlocking who you actually are, and the man holding that key is executed in front of you.
It's a profound loss of agency.
And then the environment just explodes. Manticore completely storms this Swedish supermarket.
Let's talk about the tactical physics of this supermarket shootout. It is sheer chaos, produce flying, glass shattering, and Kyle, in a moment of absolute desperation, fully detonates a grenade.
Inside a grocery store.
The structural damage alone is staggering, but it highlights how cornered they are. You don't use high explosives in an enclosed civilian structure unless you have zero other options.
Carter, as he's bleeding out, hands Abby the car keys and tells her to run. She's making a break for the exit. The grenade goes off, neutralizing one of the Manticore agents.
Barely.
But the surviving agent is relentless. He is literally inches away from grabbing her.
And then the cavalry arrives. Mason swoops in at the exact right millisecond to engage the target.
I was deeply invested in this rescue. Say what you want about Mason's past, but in that specific moment, that was a dramatic, high-stakes physical intervention. He threw down for his wife.
Are we really handing out participation trophies for doing the bare minimum?
He fought a trained killer.
My dearest co-host, let's review the timeline. Mason was asleep while his wife got up, left the safe house, bypassed whatever perimeter security they supposedly had, and walked into a kill zone.
He was tired.
He is an elite operative. How do you maintain deep REM sleep when a global syndicate is actively hunting you?
He was physically and emotionally exhausted. The human body has limits. He has been through catastrophic trauma. His brain has been essentially reformatted. Give the man a second of rest.
A second of rest cost him his wife.
He woke up, tracked her down, and fought a highly trained Manticore agent hand-to-hand.
He engaged the asset, yes. But let's look at the actual outcome objectively. Mason fights the agent, but the other agent, who just survived a localized grenade blast and is severely injured, still manages to grab Abby.
I know, it was tragic.
He drags her to a vehicle and successfully abducts her. So grand total, Mason slept through the security breach, arrived late to the extraction, and ultimately lost the principal target. Null points.
You're so hard.
The mission was an abject failure.
You are looking at it like a mission report, but I am looking at the human desperation. He is trying to hold on to the only anchor he has left in the world.
It wasn't enough.
Which brings us to the emotional climax of the episode, and honestly, one of the most devastating scenes I have watched in a long time. The mother of all breakups.
The confrontation between Nadia and Mason. Pull up a chair, Snark squad, because the psychological warfare in this scene is heavy.
I was unwell watching this. Mason is frantically gearing up. He's packing weapons, loading magazines, getting ready to launch a one-man assault to hunt down Manticore and save Abby.
His little revenge tour.
And suddenly, Nadia walks in, and the energy shifts entirely. She is vibrating with fury.
It is a cold, visceral anger. Because the pieces have finally clicked together for her, she realizes the ultimate truth.
The awful truth.
The reason Citadel fell, the reason her entire life was burned to the ground, the reason the world is currently teetering on the edge of destruction was because Mason was the original mole.
It is so messed up.
He was the architect of their downfall.
The absolute agony in her eyes. She looks at this man, a man she loved deeply, a man she bled beside in the trenches, and realizes his betrayal cost her the most important thing in her life.
She lost 8 years.
She lost 8 years with her daughter, Ashleigh. 8 formative years completely gone because the man she trusted sold them out.
And we need to analyze Mason's defense mechanism here. He's backed into a corner, and his justification is entirely rooted in a personal vendetta.
It's such a weak excuse.
He claims he didn't know his mother, Dahlia, was orchestrating things for Manticore. He states that he only sold out Citadel because he wanted revenge, because Citadel burned his father alive.
I am sorry, but that is a fundamentally flawed excuse. I am completely Team Nadia in this debate. You do not leverage the fate of the entire world for a personal vendetta.
Oh, hold on.
Nadia looks him dead in the eye and says, "Stay away from me and Ashleigh. If I see you again, I will kill you." And you know she possesses the exact skill set to make good on that promise.
She absolutely does. But I am going to step in and genuinely play devil's advocate here, because this is where the writing gets incredibly morally ambiguous.
I am terrified of where you are going with this. Do not defend his betrayal.
I am not defending the outcome. I am analyzing the catalyst. Put yourself in his exact psychological position.
Okay, I'm trying.
Citadel is supposed to be the ultimate force for good, the shield that protects humanity. If you discovered that your supposedly righteous employer, the organization you dedicated your life and your morality to, literally incinerated your father,
I mean, yeah, that's bad.
wouldn't that shatter your entire ideological framework? If the good guys burn your family alive, wouldn't you want to burn their institution to the ground?
I hear the logic in that. I do. The disillusionment would be catastrophic. But here's where I push back. Utilitarian ethics.
Oh, we are getting philosophical.
You cannot sacrifice the many for the one. You don't sell out your closest allies, the people who trust you with their lives, for a revenge plot.
He was hurting.
You don't sacrifice Nadia and millions of innocent civilians just to settle a score with the board of directors.
It is the classic conflict between duty to family versus duty to the world. He chose family, but ironically, his choice destroyed the families of everyone around him, including Nadia's.
Exactly. And the collateral damage of that choice is beautifully, tragically captured in that later scene. The cinematic framing of Nadia sitting in that ice-cold hotel bathtub.
It was a masterclass in visual storytelling. The stark contrast of the freezing water against the absolute burning heat of her rage and grief.
I felt a visceral chill watching her. She's crying, completely hollowed out by the betrayal, and little Asha is standing there, this innocent child who has been thrust into a world of assassins trying to motivate her mother.
Asha is so brave.
Asha says, "Grandpa used to say you were the smartest person." And then she quietly admits she doesn't want to be alone anymore.
It breaks your heart because Asha's craving stability in a world where stability does not exist.
And Nadia's response. She looks at her daughter, her voice completely deadened, and says she should get used to being alone because they can't have anyone around them right now.
It's a brutal thing to tell a child.
She is so profoundly traumatized by betrayal that she is preemptively isolating her child to protect her. It is suffocating grief.
It highlights the core tragedy of espionage. Trust is a liability, and right now Mason is the ultimate liability, which is why Manticore is currently holding all the cards.
They really are.
But Manticore has its own internal dysfunction. Let's pivot to villain priorities and the brainship glitch.
Oh my gosh, let's talk about Braga, because I have serious questions about his leadership style.
He is, without a doubt, a deeply unserious megalomaniac.
Right, so Braga is in his lavish mansion. A massive intelligence failure has just occurred. Bernard Orlick, a high-value asset possessing critical knowledge of their entire operation, has managed to escape their custody.
A huge security breach.
And what is Braga hyperfixated on?
The interior design budget.
He is having a full-blown meltdown because there's blood staining his pristine wooden floors and someone shattered his custom marble table during the escape.
A beautiful table, by the way.
He is screaming at his subordinates about furniture while a global intelligence crisis is unfolding.
Okay, wait. I am going to defend Braga on this one highly specific point.
You cannot be serious.
I am entirely serious. Have you priced out a solid, structurally sound piece of custom marble lately? It is an investment.
It's table.
And trying to get human blood out of porous, natural hardwood flooring, it is a chemical nightmare. The enzyme set into the grain, I would be furious too.
You are defending a global terrorist's anger management issues over interior design.
I'm just saying I relate to the domestic anger. If I curated a beautiful aesthetic in my secret villain lair and a rogue agent came in and smashed my coffee table, I would also launch a global manhunt.
You are so petty.
It's the principle of the thing. You respect the aesthetic.
Your priorities are terrifying. But okay, beyond the tragic loss of the marble table, there is an actual terrifying piece of technology driving this plot. The neural chip weapon that Joanna and Braga are deploying.
This is where the sci-fi elements blend brilliantly with real-world geopolitical fears. We are talking about a biodigital interface.
It's like a nightmare.
They are implanting chips to turn humans into literal meat puppets. But it's not just designed for localized assassinations. The ambition is staggering.
We want the whole world.
They are planning mass geopolitical manipulation. Imagine controlling the voting patterns of a parliament or the launch codes of a nuclear submarine simply by overriding the neural pathways of the people in charge.
It is the ultimate violation of human agency. It makes memory wiping look like child's play. But the brilliant twist, that terrifying world domination tech has a glitch.
Because Bernard Orlick is a tactical genius. Before he orchestrated his escape, he secretly planted a firewall directly into the software architecture.
I love him for that.
So now, Manticore's biodigital superweapon is essentially frozen on a loading screen.
I find it deeply amusing that Manticore, this omnipotent evil syndicate, is basically facing a corporate IT crisis.
Have you tried turning the world domination ship off and on again?
Exactly. They are trying to subjugate humanity, but their software keeps crashing. Joanna informs Braga that their internal engineers can't bypass Orlick's code.
They need an outside contractor.
They need a highly specific, elusive Korean hacker named Edison to patch the glitch.
It grounds the evil empire in bureaucratic reality. Nothing stops a megalomaniac quite like a mandatory software update.
So Braga is forced to tell Aparna, who has been obsessively hunting Nadia this entire time, to stand down on her vendetta. He diverts her mission to go track down this IT specialist.
The ultimate demotion.
The fact that the villains have to put their blood feud on hold to call tech support is a fantastic narrative choice.
It buys our heroes time. But while Manticore is stuck dealing with their broken tech, Orlick is out here living his best chaotic life, which transitions us to the European road trip of chaos.
Bernard and Hutch, the buddy comedy duo of the intelligence world that we did not know we needed.
Rogue ex-CIA agent Hutch is rapidly becoming my favorite wildcard. He embodies the sheer, unadulterated chaos of a burned operative.
He is terrifying.
He is the definition of an HR nightmare.
They are fleeing across the European countryside, trying to navigate from France to Italy. Hutch has somehow managed to procure these highly illegal, incredibly convincing forged passports.
And the contrast between the two men is fascinating to watch.
It really is.
It perfectly illustrates the two distinct schools of espionage. Orlick is the psychological operator. He is the scalpel. He uses manipulation, intellect, and calculated risk.
And Hutch.
Hutch is a relic of the Cold War archetype. He is the hammer. He relies on kinetic energy, intimidation, and pure concentrated violence.
They arrive in Italy and track down Alessandra, a journalist working for Reuters. They need him to publish a very specific story in the global press the next day to send a coded signal to their allies.
And we get to see their methodologies clash in real time. Orlick attempts the psychological approach. He appeals to Alessandra's journalistic integrity.
That was a good try.
He uses elegant, motivational rhetoric, trying to convince the man that publishing this truth is a noble act of defiance against a corrupt system.
It's a beautiful speech, very inspiring.
And Hutch just stands there, visibly exhausted by the poetry of it all. He steps forward, essentially tells Orlick to shut up, and aggressively threatens to put a bullet in Alessandro if the story doesn't run.
Oh my gosh, I gasped.
The scalpel failed, so the hammer smashed the problem. The negotiation lasted 5 seconds.
It was aggressively efficient. And then we get to the actual coded message. Orlick secures 3 untraceable burner phones. He calls Joe to ensure a protective detail is on the girls.
Very smart move.
And he drops this absolute masterpiece of a line. He says, when the stars fall from the sky, they will know that they are safe.
It is highly theatrical.
But it works. I love the romanticism of dramatic spy dialogue. It elevates the operational logistics into poetry.
It does sound cool.
Nadia is watching the news. She sees the broadcast about Orlick's supposedly fatal plane crash. She decrypts the stars falling imagery, and she immediately understands the rendezvous protocol. It is brilliant fieldcraft.
It is undeniably smart. Orlick is a master strategist. But my friend, we cannot praise him too heavily right now.
Why not?
Because his grand strategy involves some of the darkest moral compromises we have ever seen on television. We need to descend into the family drama, the scars, and the ultimate betrayal.
This is where the episode completely broke my spirit. I am still processing the trauma of these revelations.
Let's start with Abby, who is currently being held captive in a Manticore cell in France. Joanna enters the holding area.
Just oozing evil.
Joanna is not there to physically torture her. She is there to conduct a psychological evaluation. She walks around Abby, sizes her up, and then she notices it. A very specific surgical scar on the back of Abby's neck.
My heart literally stopped.
Joanna's demeanor changes entirely. She smiles, this chilling, predatory smile, and she calls her Celeste.
The implications of that single word, the emotional toll of this realization is staggering. Because we, the audience, know the horrific truth.
We know exactly what Mason did.
We know that Mason Kane, in an act of absolute violation, essentially killed Celeste.
He committed identity murder. By sanctioning the complete erasure of her memories, he deleted Celeste from the human registry to fabricate the persona of Abby.
How does the human mind ever recover from that? It is the ultimate betrayal of autonomy.
It's irreversible damage.
The man you love, the man you built a life with, the father of your child, is the architect of your own non-existence. He violated your neural pathways and forced you into a fake life.
And now she is locked in a cage.
And now she is trapped in a Manticore cell, and Joanna is holding the key to her shattered mind. Joanna is absolutely going to weaponize that trauma to manipulate her.
It is a brilliant piece of psychological warfare by Joanna. Why fight Mason with bullets when you can turn his own wife against him by simply giving her back the memories he stole?
It is so incredibly dark. But the universe is currently serving Mason a massive dose of his own medicine, because his reality is completely fracturing as well.
Good, he deserves it.
He is back in England, and he breaks into a heavily secured safe house belonging to his supposedly dead mother, Dahlia.
Dahlia, the ultimate survivor, popping back up from the grave whenever the plot requires a massive dose of manipulation.
She is always lurking in the shadows. Mason goes to her in pure desperation. He needs help locating Abby.
So he hands over his only piece of leverage.
He hands over the encrypted phone he recovered from the Manticore strike team at the Swedish supermarket. Dahlia plugs it into her tech array, decrypts the geodata, and confirms that Braga is holding her in France.
And then Dahlia pivots. She recognizes that Mason is vulnerable, isolated, and desperate, and she begins to systematically dismantle whatever remaining trust he has in the world.
She is a master manipulator. She tells him that his former allies are actively hunting him for his betrayal.
Yeah.
She reinforces that Braga wants him dead.
Classic isolation tactics.
She builds a narrative where she is the only safe harbor in a world trying to kill him.
Cut off the asset from their support network, and they become entirely dependent on you. And to permanently sever his loyalty, she drops the seismic bomb of the season.
I was not ready.
She reveals the truth about the drone strike that incinerated his father.
I felt physical shock watching this unfold.
She pulls up the classified logs and reveals that Bernard Orlick, the man who recruited Mason, the man who trained him, the man Mason trusted more than his own flesh and blood.
Don't say it.
Orlick is the one who plotted the coordinates. Orlick gave the direct order to execute the strike.
The generational trauma is unfathomable. Mason's entire ideological framework, his entire justification for betraying everyone, was built on the premise of avenging his father.
And his revenge was pointed in the wrong direction.
And now he discovers that the architect of his father's agonizing death was his mentor, the man he viewed as a surrogate father figure.
It is a devastating narrative twist, but let's look at this analytically, bestie. Mason is now trapped in a paradox of trust.
What do you mean?
You obviously cannot trust Orlick, the man who supposedly murdered your father and manipulated your career. But can you objectively trust the intel provided by your fake dead mother, who is a high-ranking operative for a global terror syndicate?
You can't. The intel might be completely fabricated. Dahlia could have easily doctored those digital logs to frame Orlick and secure Mason's loyalty.
It's highly probable.
It is an absolute suffocating spiral of deception. I genuinely do not know how Mason's brain hasn't just shut down entirely. If I were him, I would simply lie down on Braga's ruined marble floor and wait for the end.
His resilience is terrifying, and honestly, the internet is spiraling right there with him. Let's shift to the Reddit fan consensus, because the fan theories are actively burning down the servers right now.
The Snark Squad online is deeply validating all of our emotional reactions today. If you look at the subreddits, the overwhelming consensus is that Season 2 is a massive, awesome recovery from Season 1.
I have to agree with the digital masses. A significant critique of Season 1 was the pacing. It felt bogged down by heavy exposition and flashbacks, but this season, it is highly kinetic. Zero filler.
Completely. Someone pointed out that we only get 7 or 8 episodes total, and they are maximizing every single minute. The narrative economy is fantastic.
And we have to talk about the sheer volume of love Stanley Tucci is getting online right now.
The man is a master of his craft. The subreddit is rightly obsessing over his corridor escape sequence.
He brings this incredible gravitas to the role of Orlick, but he balances it with this perfectly pitched, dry sarcasm. Even when he is orchestrating a massacre, he sounds like he's slightly annoyed that his espresso is cold.
That injection of dark humor is precisely what saved the tone of the show. That's the prevailing thought online, and I fully endorse it.
It acts as a pressure valve.
When you are dealing with themes of memory erasure, mass casualties, and familial betrayal, the bleakness can become oppressive. By adding the comedic friction between Hutch, Bernard, and Frank Sharp, the writers gave the audience a way to breathe.
It makes the intense action sequences pop with so much more contrast.
Although, You always have the contrarians in the comments. I saw one incredibly stubborn user who proudly declared that they are forcing themselves to finish out of spite because they hated Season 1 so much.
Spite watching is a fascinating psychological condition. Imagine having so much disposable time in your finite human existence that you dedicate hours to an intricate espionage thriller purely to fuel your own resentment.
Seriously.
Get a hobby.
Babes, if the show is raising your cortisol levels, turn off the television. Go outside, go pull the tarp off a pool. We do not have the bandwidth for spite watching in our soft life era.
We absolutely do not. Protect your peace. But honestly, watching all of this intense life or death operational security got me thinking about our own capabilities. Which brings us perfectly to segment 1. Could we be spies?
Based on our earlier discussion about pool covers, absolutely not. We would be a liability to national security.
Wait, let's explore the hypothetical. Based on the heavy emotional toll, the required compartmentalization, and the intense secrecy needed to survive, how quickly do you think we would critically fail as secret agents?
I give us a maximum of 12 minutes in the field. My friend, you would compromise a global intelligence network before the lunch briefing.
I respect that. I am fiercely loyal. I can keep a classified secret.
You literally cannot process information without external validation. You would receive highly classified satellite imagery regarding a hostile nuclear facility, and your first instinct would be to drop it into our group chat with the caption, Amdil Amanji. You guys are not going to believe what Manticore's building right now. Do we think this concrete matches my aesthetic?
Okay, that is a targeted attack on my emotional processing style.
Fine.
I need to verbally work through my trauma.
Espionage doesn't allow for verbal processing.
If someone detonated a grenade near me in a Swedish supermarket, I could not just compartmentalize that and move on to the next objective. I would need a debrief with my besties. I would need a comprehensive mental health day.
And Manticore would track your mental health day via satellite and eliminate you.
So what about you?
My failure, on the other hand, would happen in a high society infiltration scenario.
No.
The second an evil billionaire offered me a subpar vintage at a gala, my cover would instantly dissolve.
Oh, you would absolutely critique the villain's hospitality while they were trying to interrogate you.
I would. I'd look at the glass and say, is this a 2021 blend? Are you actively insulting my palate right now? I work for the CIA. I endure enough stress. I demand a complex Bordeaux.
It would shoot you on the spot.
Or, as we discussed, I would start inspecting the porosity of their marble furniture. You're never getting my blood out of this, it's going to stain permanently. We are structurally built for lounging, not for lethal pursuits.
We lack the sociopathic edge required for the job. Which leads us seamlessly into segment 2, most suspicious energy. Out of the entire ensemble right now, who is giving the biggest liar energy? Who is the ultimate unreliable narrator?
This is a complex debate because deception is the baseline currency of the show. Literally every single character is operating under false pretenses.
Is it Dahlia? Because faking your own death, hiding in a rural safe house, and popping back up with highly convenient, perfectly timed decrypted files to psychologically manipulate your deeply traumatized son is incredibly suspicious.
She is definitely a candidate.
She operates entirely on hidden agendas.
But what about Mason himself? Can you trust the perspective of a man who literally does not possess a continuous timeline of his own life?
That's fair.
His brain is a biological hard drive that's been wiped, reformatted, and partitioned multiple times. He might not be intentionally lying, but his reality is a lie.
I give Mason a pass on the liar energy because he isn't malicious in his confusion. He just has panicked golden retriever energy right now. He's just frantically trying to find the ball that someone threw into the dark.
I am going to make a highly analytical argument here. The person projecting the most suspicious, dangerous energy in the entire narrative is Bernard Orlick.
Bernard. But he's the funny tech guy. He's the mentor.
Exactly. That is precisely why he is the most dangerous. He uses his charm, his tailored suits, and his sarcastic wit to mask the fact that he is a ruthless, calculated sociopath.
Wow. Okay, break that down.
Look at his resume of trauma. He unilaterally decided to wipe Mason's memory. He orchestrated the erasure of Celeste's identity. He plants digital firewalls that dictate the fate of global tech. And, if Dahlia's logs are accurate, he ordered the drone strike that incinerated his protege's father.
Or you put it like that.
He plays the quirky uncle archetype perfectly, but he is the ultimate puppet master. He views human beings as lines of code to be rewritten or deleted.
That is a chilling analysis. He really is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. He is completely detached from the moral weight of his actions.
Yeah.
Speaking of actively detaching from reality, let's move to segment 3. Apartment pool delusions.
Yes. Bring me back to the light. Guide me away from the psychological horror and back to the shallow end of the water.
We need to definitively describe the absurd, escapist lifestyle we're planning to cultivate at the new apartment building to cope with all the stress this television show and our actual lives are causing us.
The floor is yours, bestie. Paint the picture. Map out the delusion.
Okay, here is the daily operational routine. I wake up, I bypass all notifications, I drape myself in a matching neutral-toned linen set that aggressively screams I possess untraceable generational wealth, even though I purchased it on a seasonal clearance sale.
Perfect.
I descend to the pool deck, I secure a chaise lounge in the optimal sun path, I put on sunglasses so massive they cover my eyebrows, creating a total barrier against human connection.
The sunglasses are crucial. They are your personal firewall.
Exactly. I turn my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Huh.
I actively watch frantic emails from my boss pile up on my lock screen, and with the cold calculation of Bernard Orlick, I simply swipe them away into the digital void.
Incredible execution.
And then I spend the next 4 hours doing absolutely nothing but quietly, internally judging the aesthetic choices of every resident who walks past me.
It's a beautiful, sociopathic vision of peace. I will be situated on the lounge chair directly next to you. I will be holding a massive, intimidatingly thick historical biography to project intellectual superiority, but secretly, I have a trashy romance novel tucked inside the dust jacket.
The ultimate deception.
And I will be generously tipping our non-existent, chemically proficient pool boy with imaginary offshore funds.
It is going to be glorious. We will be untethered from society. But honestly, dissecting the architecture of Braga's villain mansion and Dahlia's high-tech Safehouse has warped my brain regarding our own living situation. Which brings us to our final segment. Segment 4, luxury amenities we don't need.
My expectations have been completely ruined. Seeing the sheer scale of the real estate in this show, I suddenly feel like our new apartment building is fundamentally lacking in tactical infrastructure.
Right. Why doesn't our lobby feature a biometric retinal scanner that opens a hidden armory behind the mailboxes? It just seems like poor planning by the property management company.
I am legitimately demanding a marble table for my living room now, but standard marble is insufficient. I need it to be structurally reinforced with a titanium core.
For all those dinner party fights.
A table that will absolutely not shatter if a rogue operative gets thrown through it. I require combat-ready marble.
Combat-ready marble is an unhinged request for a 2-bedroom apartment. I don't need a tactical aesthetic. I just want a secret panic room.
For tactical retreats.
Not because I am worried about assassins breaching the perimeter, but simply to evade social obligations. Imagine this. The doorbell rings.
Yeah.
I check the camera. It is someone I absolutely do not have the emotional bandwidth to speak to.
The worst case scenario.
I simply press a hidden button under the kitchen counter, a bookshelf slides open, and I retreat into a soundproof bunker with a bottle of Moscato until they give up and leave.
A social anxiety panic room is a brilliant innovation. It is the ultimate boundary-setting tool. We need to draft the patents for that immediately.
We really do. Oh my goodness, what an intense episode to unpack. My heart rate is finally returning to a normal baseline.
Barely. The adrenaline is still lingering. But before we officially sign off and release you into the weekend, Snark Squad, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. A philosophical concept to chew on while you're avoiding your own chores and responsibilities.
Hit us with a heavy theory, my friend.
We spent a lot of time analyzing the mechanics of what happened to Mason and Celeste, the erasure of identity. So I ask you this, if someone completely wiped your memories, erased the trauma, the grief, the betrayals in order to, quote unquote, protect you from the agony of your own past, is that an act of profound self-sacrificing love? Or is it the ultimate, unforgivable act of violence against your humanity?
Ugh, that gave me a full-body chill. It is such a dark, twisted moral paradox. You are saving them from pain, but you are killing who they are. I hate the concept, but my brain cannot stop analyzing it.
Mull it over while you sip your discounted wine.
Snark Squad, thank you so incredibly much for hanging out with us in the absolute chaos today. We appreciate you. We love you so much.
We truly do. But this is a two-way communication channel. We need the intel from you. Get in the comments, hit us up on social media, and answer these 4 critical questions for us. Number 1, is cheap wine secretly the elite choice of the modern era?
The answer is obviously yes. Number 2,
Are suburban pools an actual luxury oasis, or are they just pure concentrated stress?
Number 3, what completely unhinged tactical apartment amenity would you demand most?
And finally, looking deep into your own soul, could you actually survive being a spy, or would you fold immediately? Be brutally honest with yourselves.
Remind them of the digital housekeeping, my dearest co-hosts.
Yes, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you are listening or watching. It helps the algorithm find us, it supports the show, and it keeps the Moscato flowing in our safe house.
Exactly. Until next time, babes, stay messy.
Stay luxurious.
And we will see you on the Snark side.